Good morning and welcome to Plymouth, Britain's ocean city. I'm Amanda Lumley and I'm Head of Tourism for Plymouth. Welcome to our first ever Sustainable Tourism Conference. Thank you so much for joining us, albeit virtually today, for what will be a thought-provoking, educational and immersive conference. You can learn so much about the amazing environment around us. Our speakers today will show you how to put your business on the route to sustainability and really make a difference to the local community, your customers, the experience and the environment. We've got a fantastic lineup of speakers during the conference to share subjects close to the hearts of the people of Plymouth and to businesses who love Britain's ocean city. Very fitting for today, Valentine's Day. Councillor Nick Kelly, leader of Plymouth City Council, will explain the city's ambitions to encourage our residents, visitors and our businesses to do everything we can to preserve and protect the ocean for our future generations to enjoy. Roger Maslin, Chief Executive of the Ocean Conservation Trust and the National Marine Aquarium here in Plymouth, will demonstrate how influencing change, carbon reduction and the blue and green opportunities are good for Plymouth and our global oceans. Andrea Nicholas, Chief Executive and Founder at Green Tourism, will introduce the internationally recognised Green Tourism programme and will talk you through how to sign up and get started. She'll be sharing top tips, outlining benefits and demonstrating sustainable ways to help you run your business. Professor Richard Thompson, Director at the Marine Institute at the University of Plymouth and one of the first scientists to discover microplastics in the oceans, will share his insights and knowledge on the work the university is doing regarding sustainability and the environment. Councillor Maddie Bridgman, Deputy Lord Mayor of Plymouth and Cabinet Member for Environment and Street Scene, will explain why the City Council has declared a climate emergency and how they are already working towards a more sustainable approach. Adrian Vinken, CBE, OBE, former Chief Executive of the Theatre Royal Plymouth and Chairman of Destination Plymouth, will talk about the Theatre Royal's journey towards environmental sustainability. And finally, we'll hear from the brilliant Mitch Tonks, founder of Rockfish and UK Ambassador of the Marine Stewardship Council. Respecting, looking after our environment and acting as responsible businesses is critical. As we have seen over the past few years, the human race is slowly destroying our planet, and it's about time we started to repair the damage. Today will help you begin your journey towards sustainability and provide you with an incredible opportunity to sign up to the internationally recognised Green Tourism Accreditation programme. Costing you nothing for the first year with heavily subsidised rates in the following years, all funded by Destination Plymouth and Plymouth City Council through the UK's Community Renewal Fund. So, enough from me. Let's hear from our first speaker this morning, Councillor Nick Kelly, leader of Plymouth City Council.
Thanks Amanda, and welcome everyone to Plymouth's first ever Sustainable Tourism Conference. We're here today to launch the city's first green tourism programme and to help and encourage businesses to become more sustainable, reduce their carbon footprint and plastics use. Plymouth is Britain's ocean city, and we are delighted to be home to the UK's first national marine park. We are a vibrant and thriving waterfront city, and we want everyone to enjoy the opportunities and benefits of living, working, studying or visiting our unique city. The oceans are an incredibly important part of our lives. They cover 72% of our planet and provide 50% of the oxygen we breathe. With every breath we take, every drop of water we drink, we're connected to the ocean. Our planet depends on the vitality of the ocean to support and sustain it now and in the future. But our oceans face major threats from global climate change, pollution, habitat destruction, invasive species and a dramatic decrease in ocean fish stocks. Here in Plymouth, we want to encourage our residents, visitors and our businesses to take ownership and to do everything they can to preserve and protect the ocean for future generations to enjoy. As a council, we are on a mission to declare a climate emergency in 2019 and pledge to make Plymouth carbon neutral by 2030. Plymouth City Council is proud to be working with Destination Plymouth and Green Tourism on the city's first green tourism programme. This programme will offer training and support to help you to develop your own carbon reduction plans, travel to work plans, identify how to reduce waste and reduce plastics, which will reduce your energy consumption and encourage a change to renewables. There will be a series of in-depth training webinars and events to provide you, our city businesses, with the information and skills you need to take action now. As well as enabling you to become sustainably accredited, further benefits could include cost savings, reducing your waste and attracting more customers. All excellent benefits of being part of this exciting initiative. Apply now and your business could receive 100% subsidy towards the cost of this accreditation programme with discounts in years 2 and 3. Please sign up today. It only takes 5 minutes to register. By doing so, you will be joining many others to protect and preserve our wonderful environment. Thank you, and back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Nick, and so great to hear about all that Plymouth City Council is doing to encourage our residents, visitors and our businesses to implement everything we can to protect and preserve the oceans for our future generations to enjoy. Roger Maslin is the Chief Executive of the Ocean Conservation Trust and the National Marine Aquarium here in Plymouth. Did you know that the National Marine Aquarium is home to over 4,000 marine animals, and they do groundbreaking conservation work globally, helping to protect and preserve the oceans? Here's Roger to explain about influencing change, carbon reduction and the blue-green opportunities for Plymouth.
Thanks, Amanda, and good morning everybody. Today is obviously all about green tourism. And we've been asked to say a little bit about influencing change, carbon reduction, and possibly what are some of the blue and green opportunities here in Plymouth. So who are we and what do we do? So we are the Ocean Conservation Trust. So we're an ocean conservation charity set up about 25 years ago, the first in the marine space. And the premise is that the ocean is the foundation of all life on the planet. And the problem is that largely as a society, we're disconnected. We've lost that link with nature. So our job, our mission in life is to really help to reconnect. So it's connecting us with the oceans. It's promoting pro-ocean behaviours. It's creating better, healthier oceans, and really for the benefit and the enjoyment of everybody. And we do this in 3 ways. Firstly, it's about ocean-related behaviour change. Secondly, it's around habitat restoration. And thirdly, we own, operate and manage the National Marine Aquarium, which is a wonderful national aquarium sandwiched in between the fishing fleet in Sutton Harbour and behind me, Plymouth Sound. So let's take each one. In terms of the influencing change, Our behaviour change programme is obviously all ocean related, and our premise is that conservation, like sustainability, is all about people. Now, we're not trying to create perfection here, but it's really about everybody doing their bit. Now, we look at this on both a pure and applied basis. On the pure basis, we do a lot of work on ocean literacy and ocean citizenship, and that's all about how we're connected with the ocean and vice versa, and what it takes to be a marine citizen. Now, we work a lot with the government and DEFRA, so we chair the Ocean Literacy Working Group, as well as working with the UN and creating baseline studies so we can understand the levels of ocean literacy, behaviour change, and indeed ocean-related sustainability. Also, we work on the applied side. So because we own and operate the National Marine Aquarium, we have over 250,000 visitors each year and 30,000 school children. So it's a wonderful way as an ocean conservation charity to really affect change. Now, we're really proud of some of our programmes that we've been working with over the years. So for example, you might have heard about the Reconnect programme, which is a route from right here at the National Marine Aquarium all the way through to Brixham, or indeed our city sustainability programme, or even programmes like Fish to Fork. But perhaps most recently, we're really proud with the Ocean Motion, which is all about a charter signed up by each council, really about their position about the ocean. So we're delighted that Plymouth City Council are the first to sign up. We've signed up others since, and of course our goal over the next few months is why can't we sign up all of the councils across the UK. So that's a little bit about how we go about influencing change. On the carbon reduction side, that really is all about our habitat restoration programme, and we restore lots of habitats, but our real focus is about seagrass, which is a wonderful plant. It's the ocean's only flowering plant, but it's perhaps one of the most important ecosystems on the planet. Why? Well, not only is it brilliant at helping reduce coastal erosion, but also it's fabulous about acting as a nursery for a lot of the commercial fish stocks here in the UK. But perhaps it's better known these days, and you might have noticed or read or seen David Attenborough most recently in his Green Planet series about its ability to sequester carbon, an ability that matches, even excels, tropical rainforests. The problem is that we have lost since the 1930s about 90% of seagrass around the shores of the UK. So what we're doing at the Ocean Conservation Trust is all about protecting what we've got and restoring where we used to be. Now, we look at this on a kind of holistic basis. We're involved in lots of projects that look after a half a hectare or a hectare here. What we're looking to do is really focus on what does it take to restore at an agricultural level, hundreds of hectares a year. So what we're doing is looking at this holistic approach. It's looking at where we should plant seagrass, how we should plant seagrass, how we develop the seedlings. At the same time, it's looking at how we measure biodiversity, how we measure carbon itself being sequestered into the seabed. But as well, it's about the community programs that go with it. So there's no point in restoring, protecting seagrass if you haven't got the local community buy-in. So that's our goal over the next 30 to 50 years with a number of other parties of really going back to the 80,000 hectares that they used to be. Now, there are an interesting couple of spin-offs about that at the moment. In July last year, the planning laws changed a little bit so that when you go for developments, then you have to show a 10% increase in net biodiversity. What we've done is we've hooked that into a seagrass plantation programme. So when you go for your planning application, if you add a little bit of seagrass plantation as well, it helps you get your planning application through. But it's a good way of helping to restore more amounts of seagrass. Equally though, I probably get a a call every other day at the moment about, Roger, we've got this great idea how we can link some form of blue carbon credit to your seagrass programme. Sadly, a blue carbon trading system isn't actually operational at the moment, but in 5 to 10 years it will be. And certainly we want to be well placed to really develop and restore seagrass en masse. So that's a little bit about the behaviour change and what we're doing from a carbon reduction point of view. But the other end of the scale is that we also own and operate the National Marine Aquarium. Now, of course, it's brilliant from an ocean conservation point of view because we influence over 250,000 visitors and have a young learners programme to over 30,000 people. But, of course, coming with that, we might be a brilliant visitor attraction with 5,000 animals, we might be a great educational centre and a research facility and a community hub. But what comes with that is a pretty significant carbon footprint. So what are we doing about it? Because we've got over 5 million litres of water just behind us, and our power consumption is the equivalent of about 250 to 300 homes a year. So that is a quite significant net zero challenge that we have. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware with your businesses, there are kind of scope 1, 2 and 3 challenges when it comes down to greenhouse gas emission. So scope 1 is really all about reducing the amount of energy. Now, we were built 25 years ago, so we've got some fairly old kit, so we're in the process of replacing that. Scope 2 is all about how you buy your energy. So for many years we've bought just renewables, but standing here next door to Sutton Harbour here in Plymouth Sound, there is a 6-metre rise and fall of water twice a day. So one day, wouldn't it be nice if, as we and maybe Sutton Harbour and maybe the city as a whole could really harness that wonderful natural resource? So that's a little bit about some of the challenges that we have, but how do we take that forward and what are the opportunities for Plymouth itself? Now, Plymouth is dubbed, as you know, as marketed very much as Britain's ocean city, and it's got so much to be proud about. But until fairly recently, a lot of the development was really about looking north, not really focused on the ocean. Now, it's a pity because if you were to go sit here, stand here, go to the Hoe and look out, it has one of the most beautiful vistas in the world. Think of the voyages, the stories that are there, from Drake to Mayflower to even Darwin in terms of what we focus on. But it's a wonderful opportunity for Plymouth to really become that ocean literate, plastic free, fully sustainable ocean city. The great news is, as you may know, Plymouth Sound has been designated as the UK's first national marine park. And what's more, the council have done a brilliant job in applying for and getting £10 million of HLF seed monies to really develop the process over the next 5 to 10 years. Now, the National Marine Park means different things to different people. On the one hand, people think about conservation, others, like a terrestrial park, about fun and enjoyment. For us, as the OCT, it's a wonderful opportunity to engage people, to give people access, make it relevant, and really create a better understanding of the ocean in creating a wonderful crop of marine citizens right here in Plymouth. Now, that being said, it's also a wonderful opportunity to bring a lot of people and create a wonderful destination. So we're involved in terms of the restoration side and the engagement side, but also right here we'll have a welcome centre. So start here as an orienteering position, go over to Mountbatten to maybe dip your foot in the water and have a sailing exercise, catch the ferry across to Mount Edgecombe if you're really interested in some of the wonderful heritage and cultural side, hop across to Tinside Riviera and maybe end up in Rockfish next door for the fish supper, hopefully sustainably caught. But as you can see, the idea is really joining up those dots of the sea and the park and making it really relevant and accessible for everybody. Now, as we say, the ocean is the foundation of all life on the planet, and really the National Marine Park really gives Plymouth the opportunity of really living up to its name as Britain's ocean city. But really back to today. Today is about the Green Tourism Awards, and importantly, it's an opportunity to sign up and be better, more sustainable, carbon-friendly businesses. I'd urge you all to sign up. There's a great array of good ideas to be more sustainable and lower your carbon footprint. But as we said in the beginning, let's all do our bit, and it'd be great if you could all sign up. So many thanks, and back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Roger. That was absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for talking through the blue-green opportunities that we have here in the city. Andrea Nicholas is the CEO and founder of Green Tourism and is going to introduce next the Green Tourism Programme. Andrea will talk you through how to sign up and get started. She'll be sharing top tips and outlining benefits, demonstrating sustainable ways you can run your business.
Thanks, Amanda, and hello everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me to come along and talk at this fantastic event here today. My name is Andrea Nicholas. I'm the Chief Executive of Green Tourism, and I'm going to be talking to you today about green tourism and how we're working with Plymouth, Britain's ocean city, to introduce sustainable tourism to the destination and help businesses within the area benefit from this growing trend in sustainable tourism. To give you a bit of a background, Green Tourism is a world-leading certification program. It was actually established in 1997. And over the last 25 years, we have worked with thousands of businesses across the UK. And currently we have over 2,500 certified businesses, mostly in the UK and Ireland, but we also have some international members. And the programme is very much focused on all types of businesses within tourism and hospitality, whether that's accommodation providers, visitor attractions, tours, event venues, conference venues, activity providers, eateries. It's the wide range of anyone who is involved with sustainable tourism and hospitality. And we work with many different partners and groups, whether that's trade associations, hotel chains, destinations, and other types of organisations, as well as obviously individual businesses. So that's a bit about green tourism. I mentioned about the growing trend in sustainable tourism, and there have been significant changes over the last 25 years, and in particular, I think over the last 5 or so years, with the likes of Greta and her campaign around flight shame. People were thinking about this even before COVID, when we weren't allowed to travel, thinking about different types of travel, slow travel, low carbon, carbon neutral trips. There are actually travel agents out there now that are primarily only selling holidays and trips that are carbon neutral, travel by train, no flights involved. But we've also seen a massive trend in people wanting to be more mindful when they're on holiday, thinking about experiencing the destination, identifying with the local residents and the community, whether that's eating like a local, living like a local, understanding the destination they've come to see. And we've also seen a lot of interest in that reduction of our impact on the planet, things like reduction of single-use items like plastics, and also a massive change in people's attitude towards food and wanting to have a lower carbon diet, or a diet that's, or food that has less impact. So using local produce, very important, looking at food miles. And interesting stat from Sainsbury's showing that actually 25% of us within a few years will actually be eating vegan or vegetarian, and people are looking to reduce the amount of meats that they're eating, and making sure that the meat they are eating is actually from a locally sourced farmer and producer. But we've also seen a significant change over the last couple of years with COVID, and sustainability has become a key part of the recovery around COVID. And despite the fact we've had a terrible couple of years and everyone's suffered significantly, it has probably moved the sustainability movement and sustainable tourism on as much as possibly 10 years. I think everyone understands that there's an impact between people's health and the health of the planet, that there's more interest in people caring for each other, and that we all feel part of a world family in a much closer way than we were pre-COVID. And some research that was done on consumers showing that actually even during lockdown, people were buying products for the environment, a significant number of people buying products that were good for the planet, even if it cost more. So this was showing that people were willing to put their money where their thoughts and their values were. That climate change definitely people perceive as being really important as part of the economic recovery of COVID, and understanding that, you know, the brands need to be putting people before profit, and there's a reputational risk there if you're not doing that. And more recently, last year, Booking.com, which actually is quite a green, they're based in Holland, they're a very green booking online travel agents. And they did a massive research which actually identified what they called their watershed moments, that actually there's a tipping point of the fact that mainstream travelers now are looking for sustainable options, and 83% believe that sustainable travels are vital, and even saying that, you know, a big number of people saying that the pandemic has made them want to travel more sustainably. And there's a link there at the bottom to that report, which has some interesting, very interesting stats around that trend and interest that people have in sustainability. But we've also seen that in green tourism's connection with and contact communication with businesses, the hundreds of businesses that have been in touch with us over the last 2 or 3 years. And the top reasons why people are coming and wanting to find out more about sustainability and green tourism, the first one really is about the highlighting that commitment to climate change. I would say that that was last year in particular, as with the lead up to COP, but actually people are using that word climate change and carbon reduction and low carbon much more than they used to, and people really wanting to understand about reducing their waste and understanding there's a cost related to that, and energy, of course, water and money, but significantly within that top 5, that also that marketing advantage. And again, Booking.com showing over 70% of people want more sustainable options to book when they're looking for somewhere to stay. And also for the corporate market, I think that's also a big growth area. And it's something that we've recognised in the way that we're dealing with businesses and kind of offerings that we're able to provide them. So our standards, Green Tourism Standard, is an independently certified. It's an assessment through a third-party qualified assessors, so all of our team are trained to be able to provide accurate and credible sustainability and environmental advice. And it is about continual improvement. So the system that we've set up, which I'm going to explain to you in a minute, is about the ability to be constantly recording what you're doing and providing the opportunity for regular reassessments and checking what you're doing. So it's not just a dip in and out every couple of years. It really is about trying to keep it mainstream within your business on a regular basis. And it is that label of choice for over 2,500 businesses. And we have 3 levels within the program: a bronze, a silver and a gold. And we do find people, many people start at bronze and work their way up to gold. Some businesses come in a little bit, maybe a high bronze and a good silver, and then work up to gold. And some people just want to do the whole thing and go straight in at gold. But that's your choice. And we're able to help people along the way as they try and achieve what their expectations are. So the green tourism criteria is based on 3 pillars, which is caring for people, caring for places, and caring for our planet. And it's a very practical approach. We've broken it down into 15 simple sustainability goals, which are based around areas of your business that make practical sense. So the people section is obviously about your communication with your visitors, with your consumers, with your staff, with your suppliers, making sure that they're aware, that you're keeping yourself up to date, that you're working with your local community where possible, and that you're maintaining kind of a healthy and well-being atmosphere for everybody you're coming into connection with, and making sure that you're working with an equality and diverse and inclusivity approach in your business. The places goal is very much about promotion of the destination, whether it's the cultural heritage, the traditions, the storytelling, the food, the drink, the experiences that people can identify with and experience when they're in that destination. And also looking at options for travel, getting to the destination and within the destination that's low carbon, non-fossil fuel, maybe about walking and cycling, and other types of non-carbon using travel. And biodiversity as well, a very important part of any destination, the kind of whether it's the wildlife in the woods and the local areas you've got, or whether it's to do with the fish and the mammals that you've got in the sea. It's everything that's within the destination that you know that your customers are interested in, and helping you as a business conserve and preserve those and highlight them to your visitors. And then the planet goals are very sensible about practical resource efficiency, making sure that you're not wasting things, that you're not buying things that you're just having to throw away again, that you're looking at your packaging, all those kind of aspects. And carbon, very important that you're looking at measuring and monitoring your carbon, and where possible reducing the amount of chemicals, especially important for water quality, reducing those kind of things. So all of those goals have behind them a set of criteria that I'll talk you through, so you can identify what measures you're currently doing, what measures you could do, and there may be measures within there, that criteria that just aren't relevant to your type of business, which is fine. All of the criteria have been aligned to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so you can also report on those. And I mentioned the corporate market. So over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of demand from conference organisers, meetings and events, and identifying that they really want something that's very specific for their type of market. So we actually last year launched our Green Meeting Standard. So if you're a business that's very much into meetings, events, conferences, then it might be that the Green Meeting Standard is something more appropriate for you than green tourism, or it might be you've got a mixed market and actually both standards are relevant. But the process is very simple and very straightforward. And in order to go through the process to identify what you're currently doing, what you could be doing, and where you might sit within the assessment process, we have an online portal called Green Check. So once you've joined Green Tourism, you get access to the Green Check portal. It helps you prepare for your assessment. So it's got lots of information built within it that allows you to access at your own pace, in your own time, and take you through the green assessment process. There's an interactive dashboard, which, as you see, represents the same goals I've just gone through with you. And you click on any of those goals in any order you want. You don't have to in any particular order. You can pick the ones that you think you're doing quite a lot in. And as you click on each of those, it opens up the criteria that are relevant for that particular goal. And you work your way through it, you answer the questions. There are evidence boxes where you have to provide information, upload documents to identify and make sure that the assessor's clear that you know what you're doing. And so they can also give you the right kind of advice. And you can see the SDG logos there that gives you an indication as to what measures you're doing that relate to those processes. So you go through all of those. There are 70 criteria. As I said, in order to achieve a bronze, you have to be able to get at least 40%. To get a silver, it's 65%. And to achieve a gold, you have to achieve over 80%. And that's not unattainable. And because of the flexibility in the way it's built in, all types of businesses, regardless how small or how big you are, you can all achieve those higher levels, and we can help you do that. So once you've gone through the process, filled in all the evidence, and you're ready for your assessment, then you submit it. And your assessor will have a look at the evidence you've put in there. They might ask for additional evidence. They'll check out your website or social media, and they'll have an interview with you to go through the process and make sure that they've got all the information they need to be able to give you the best award that you can achieve. I mentioned that there's support and advice built in. So you'll see on each of the pages, there's a menu bar at the bottom, and if you click the I button, which is for information, you'll get additional information. Within that, there are links which give you links to useful websites or to templates or to additional fact sheets that we've produced that give you a bit more of an insight and help you understand what that measure means and what you could be doing. We've also got an interactive query system built in, so you can ask us a question at any time. You just fill in that information, a question that comes back to us, and one of our technical team will get back to you within a day or so and give you as much information as they can to help you meet what you're asking for. As you go through the process, you might be prompted, if you're not doing something at the moment, you might be prompted to add it to your action plan. And this action plan is yours, it's adaptable, it's editable, so you can put in notes there to say reception needs to do this, or housekeeping needs to do that, or I'd like to have a meeting with the green team to discuss this. So it can be a very interactive document that you can use to help you implement what you want to do. And it can be downloaded as well as an Excel file, so you can share it with other team members and help them identify what measures they need to do. And the good thing about all the information, all of the interactive queries that I mentioned, if you're asking us for help, or the action plan evidence that you've put in there, it's all saved automatically. So it's there in perpetuity for you to look at. For other members of the team, you can have multiple logins to the portal, so you can have any member of the green team could sign in, help fill in the information, and you can refer back. So when staff change or people move on, then you've got that information and ready for the next assessment. So you've got the information for your assessor. So it's a very simple process. As I said, you can do it at your own pace and within your own timescale whenever you want to access it. And the support through the technical team is there. They're all qualified through environmental management assessment procedures. They're for your supports and queries. And we have thousands of bits of information that we can help you with, case studies. And on our website, we have a knowledge hub with loads of fact sheets and things. So we're really trying there to help as much as possible to help you implement the measures. So that's green tourism, a bit about that. Now I want to talk to you about how we're working now in partnership with Destination Plymouth, which we're really, really excited about. I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity for a destination such as Plymouth, which is, so dependent for its tourism on the natural assets of the area that you're in, especially the water-based and sea-based natural assets that you've got. So we're working with Destination Plymouth to help up to 100 businesses to get them onto the green tourism process to help them achieve a green tourism award. And if you want to find out a little bit more about what Destination Plymouth is doing, then if you go to their website, visit plymouth.co.uk, destination-plymouth, and then green-tourism-accreditation. There's a page on that tells you exactly what the project's about. And they've actually appointed a program manager, Glenn Gardner, who's excellent. He knows all he needs to know about the destination of Plymouth. He also very up to speed with what's happening around sustainable tourism and how the green tourism program's working in partnership with Destination Plymouth. And there's lots of information on that. If you're looking to then take it to the next step, so if you click on the orange box in the middle there, so sign up for the green tourism program, it will take you through to our website, where we've also got a web page which explains how the process is going to work. And it also has on it an application form if you want to then sign up. So that's at www.green-tourism.com pages Plymouth. And that will give you, again, information on how to get involved with the project. So what's really good is there is some funding available, which is being provided through Plymouth, Britain's Ocean City, which is a great opportunity for businesses in Plymouth to get involved. And we're looking for people to sign up before the 30th of June. If you are lucky enough to be on the programme and you sign up in time, then for the first year it's fully funded. So you'll see the table at the bottom there explains the fees. They're all based on the size of your business. So whether it's in accommodation, the number of bedrooms you've got, or if it's self-catering or non-accommodation, it's the number of self-catering units or number of full-time employees. In the second year, there's a 50% discount on your renewal, and third year, there's a 25% discount. Now, what we're asking for you to do is apply by the 30th of June. That doesn't mean you need to have your assessment by the 30th of June. You'll actually have 12 months to complete your assessment. So even if you're just starting out and you haven't quite worked out how it's all going to work, please sign up for this to take advantage of this funding and get on board with this project. And you will have 12 months of us to be able to help you and work through that to get your assessment, to get your bronze or silver or gold. So please don't hold back just because you haven't started yet. We are here to help, but the main thing is that we really want to try and get as many businesses as possible onto the process. We've also, though, got an application form which you will need to fill in. So on our website, you can download that. Obviously, we're asking for contact information. And once we've got that, we will be going back to Destination Plymouth just to make sure that you're eligible, and they've got some forms that you'll need to fill in as well in order to be to pull down the funding. But once that's all been approved, then you'll get your welcome pack, access to the Green Check portal, and you can start the process. And again, we can start helping you with getting ready for your assessment, whether it's in the next couple of months or in 6 months' time. It's entirely up to you. We've also got support for anybody who comes onto that project, but also any business in the Destination Plymouth area. We're running a series of webinars between now and the end of May. Please don't wait, though. You don't have to wait till the end of the webinars before you sign up. Please try and do that before that. But the webinars, there's 2 introductory webinars, one in February and one in March, which is just a general overview as to what it all means, what the Green Tourism Standard is, but it'll also go through what the Green Meeting Standard is and how that's slightly different. Then within March, April and May, we've got 4 masterclasses which go through in a little bit more detail what we're expecting, some very sensible practical changes that you can make that help you save money, help you towards achieving your assessment, help you engage more with your team and your suppliers. And we've got a whole webinar which is dedicated to customers' expectations and communication and how to market your green credentials, which is a crucial part of the whole process. And then the last one is that kind of whole building your sustainability strategy, your policy and your plan. And we've got lots of templates and guidelines that will be provided as part of those webinars. So that will all help you. But as I said, please don't wait till the end of the webinars. If you want to be part of the project, sign up now online. And you can also register on the Destination Plymouth website for the webinars. So I'm really hoping that we can work with you. I'm hoping that I've explained enough that you can understand what's involved. Please get in touch if you've got any questions. Don't forget the deadline by 30th of June. We really want to try and get as many people to be part of this. As I said, if you've got any queries, please get in touch with Glenn or with ourselves. Have a look on the Visit Plymouth website so you can see what's all involved. And I'm really looking forward to getting involved and making Plymouth a greener destination overall. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea, for introducing the Green Tourism Programme. There'll be plenty of information for you today throughout the conference on how to sign up and get started with the Green Tourism Programme. Go to visitplymouth.co.uk for more information. Professor Richard Thompson, OBE FRS, is Director of the Marine Institute at the University of Plymouth. He's a leading global researcher on microplastics in the oceans, and he's mapped out much of the territory upon which our understanding of both the impacts of plastics and the potential solutions are based. Under his leadership, Plymouth has produced more scientific publications on the subject of marine plastics than any other university worldwide, with Richard himself having led or co-authored more than 180 scientific papers. Richard is going to explain a little more about the work the university is doing regarding sustainability and the environment and the oceans.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm Richard Thompson. I'm Professor of Marine Biology at the University of Plymouth. I'm really excited about the Green Tourism Programme here in the city of Plymouth. Of course, Plymouth's our ocean city, right on the waterfront, an incredibly vibrant place where so many of us choose to live, work, study right next to the ocean. As a marine biologist, I know that only too well. And yet, at the same time as the vibrancy of our oceans brings us to want to be near the water, to sail on them, to swim in them, to dive in them, over the decades I've been working as a marine biologist, unfortunately what I've seen is the negative side of some of those interactions, that unfortunately we start to see our oceans challenged by taking too much out and by putting in too much waste. We see the global challenges coming from climate change, from ocean acidification, the accumulation of plastic waste. And yet all of those things are avoidable In essence, they're not about not using our oceans, absolutely not. They're about starting to use our oceans in a way that's far more responsible than we have done to date. And that is at the heart, in my view, of this green tourism programme. It's about making sure that we retain the benefits and the enjoyment of the marine environment, the enjoyment that brings visitors to our city, that brings business into our city, that helps the economy. But at the same time, in doing that, we want to make sure that the oceans are preserved for future generations to enjoy. And that's, in my view, what this programme is entirely about. It's about adopting different ways of doing things. If I think about my own work on plastics in the marine environment, for example, during my lifetime, I've seen the quantities of plastic in the sea literally quadruple. And yet, at the same time, plastics bring immense benefit to all of us in society. Not just the business applications, they're lightweight, inexpensive, durable, bringing benefits in hospitals, in schools, and even in packaging, which is often picked on. And yet the solution to this problem of plastic, it's not about not using plastics, it's about starting to use them more responsibly, to adopt different business models to the ones that we have had historically. The challenge there is that 40% of all the plastic we make is destined for single-use applications, where there is a benefit to society, but that benefit is very short-lived, and yet the waste we generate is very, very persistent. And much of that waste is accumulating in the oceans behind us. There's a business model there we can change. It's rooted in changing the way we design, use and dispose of plastics so that we no longer treat the sea as a garbage patch. So this is absolutely about seizing the opportunities of the ocean, making sure they're at the heart of what we do, and the sustainability for the marine environment is at the heart of what we do. And it's only if we do that that we can make sure that we protect those oceans from the challenges that threaten the marine environment and the creatures that live there, but also the challenges that threaten our engagement with the seas, that threaten our businesses that are dependent on the seas, and that also threaten the human health and well-being, because it's really clear that living by the ocean and enjoying its benefits brings immense benefit to us as human beings as well. So I absolutely endorse this green tourism programme, and I really hope that we can use it as an opportunity to move forward and harness more sustainable ways of conducting our benefit in unison with the environment and in unison with the oceans. I'm Richard Thompson, I'm Professor of Marine Biology at the University of Plymouth. We published the first paper describing the accumulation of microplastics in the environment using that term in 2004. What we were showing was the most abundant pieces of plastic in the environment had actually not really been counted, documented, recorded. Very soon it became apparent that microplastics are actually very pervasive and accumulating in the environment. And actually most of the microplastics we were finding were forming by the fragmentation of larger items. And so really legislation to address larger items was going to be important. But we also showed that there were other sources. We showed that there were microplastics in cosmetics, which was known, but no one really understood the scale of the problem. We also showed that fibres from textiles were being released in hundreds of thousands every time you did your washing in the washing machine at home. Some items of clothing were releasing fibres 5 or 6 times faster than others. It was the design stage where we could make an intervention. Both those pieces of work have informed policy. What we're now looking at is an additional source, the particles that are generated when you drive your car or a lorry on the road. Those fine particles of tyre dust are also entering the environment in very big quantities. But is there a way to design tyres in a manner that the tyres will last longer, they'll generate less particles and we reduce the emission to the environment? Or is it possible to design better ways of capturing those particles once they're released from the tyres as you drive along? And that's a key part for the environmental science to help industry to design products that are fit for purpose but also fit for the environment of today and for tomorrow. There are fantastic opportunities in Plymouth to showcase the marine environment. I think just one example of the UK's National Marine Park, it really gives us a fantastic opportunity, a portfolio to showcase the benefits of the oceans, how we can increase the numbers of people enjoying those oceans, and yet at the same time we can work to raise awareness about what it is we need to do to make sure that the fragile marine environments around us that actually are the thing that attracts us to them in the first place are protected for future generations to enjoy. So the opportunity that's there within the marine park to bring together society, economy and environment as equal pillars in a marine park is something that's unprecedented, and I really look forward to working more broadly in the city to help to achieve those aims. So for the benefit for the city, the economy, society, and most importantly to me, the environment as well, I'd encourage you to find out more about the Green Tourism Programme. Find out more about it, consider signing up for it. Thank you very much, and back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Richard, for sharing your thoughts on the challenges that our oceans face today and the work that the University of Plymouth is doing to enhance and protect all our daily experiences of living and working in Britain's ocean city. If you would like to know more, visit the Plymouth University website. The link should be on your screens below. Now, Councillor Maddie Bridgman is known to many local residents and businesses across the city as the Deputy Lord Mayor of Plymouth and Cabinet Member for Environment and Street Scene. She is a passionate advocate of environmental sustainability, and she is going to share details of how the City Council is tackling the climate emergency.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm Councillor Maddie Bridgman, Deputy Lord Mayor and Cabinet Member for Environment and Street Scene. Plymouth is Britain's ocean city, and we are a vibrant, thriving city by the sea, and we have Dartmoor at our borders, and we want everyone to enjoy the opportunity to benefit from living, working, studying and visiting our beautiful city. As Cabinet Member for Environment, tackling climate change is one of my top priorities, and in March 2019 we declared a climate emergency and pledged to make Plymouth carbon neutral by 2030. This is a big challenge and huge changes will need to be made. So we have produced 2 action plans to show what we intend to do. I'm especially proud of our Climate Emergency Action Plan, and it lists all the actions that we are taking, as well as other partners in the Plymouth Net Zero Partnership, to reduce emissions across the city and encourage others to do the same. Plymouth gained plastic-free status for the city's waterfront, and this has now been extended to the whole of the city, the biggest community in the UK to gain the status to date, and one of only 73 in the whole of the UK. Last year we helped highlight nationally the challenges around climate change by collaborating with Plymouth Energy Community and the Moths to a Flame project, which was so well received at Glasgow's Botanic Gardens for COP26. We want to promote ecotourism in the city, and Central Park is at the heart of our city and a fantastic open green space for everyone to enjoy. Poole Farm is a community farm in the heart of Derriford Community Park, and its education centre encourages learning and well-being through nature. There are orchards with 222 fruit trees and extensive wildflower meadows reserved for nature and especially for our bees and pollinators. Poole Farm is setting the blueprint for future parks nationally by growing people, nurturing enterprise and enabling a positive transition to net zero. Plymouth is unique in the fact that we have over 1,300 hectares of glorious green space, and we have 13 dedicated nature reserves. And over the past few months we have planted thousands of trees right across the city. Plymouth is also one of the UK's 3 community forests, and we are also taking part in the Queen's Green Canopy initiative. I hope I've given you a sense of Plymouth City Council's commitment and achievements to date in aiming to become the UK's first sustainable destination. We are doing our bit, but we need everyone in our community to help do their bit too. We are proud to be working with Destination Plymouth and Green Business on the city's first green tourism programme. This programme will help enable businesses on the path towards sustainable accreditation and at the same time provide benefits including suggestions for cost saving, reducing waste and attracting more customers. So please sign up now. It only takes 5 minutes to register and you can begin your journey towards helping protect and preserve the environment and becoming more sustainable for the future. Please visit the website and make the change today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maddie, for giving us an overview of the City Council's activities. And it was great to hear about all the actions that the City is taking, as well as the other partners in the Plymouth Net Zero Partnership, who are reducing emissions across the city. Adrian Vinken, CBE, OBE, has been a familiar face to many in the city over the years as Chief Executive of Plymouth's very own Theatre Royal. Although he's now retired, as Chairman of Destination Plymouth, he has led the developments of our new visitor strategy for the city, which sets out our ambitions to become one of the first carbon neutral destinations in the UK. Adrian's going to take us on the journey of the Theatre Royal, as they have already begun their pathway towards sustainability over the past few years.
Thanks, Amanda, and hello everyone. As Amanda said, I'm Adrian Vinken, the Chair of Destination Plymouth, and I'd like to introduce you to the new Green Tourism programme which we're supporting in the city. Plymouth is Britain's ocean city, and it's in the process of establishing the Sound and our coast as the UK's first national marine park. So more than any other city in the country, our environment is our greatest asset as a place to live and play, to work and study, and particularly to visit and run a visitor business. Therefore, we obviously need to do everything we can to preserve and protect our ocean and environment for future generations and for our own continued prosperity. In 2019, Plymouth pledged to become carbon neutral by 2030, and as the city's destination management organisation, Destination Plymouth, in its 2020 to 2030 visitor plan, undertook to help make the city a sustainable visitor destination by then. Our partnership with Green Tourism will benefit tourism, hospitality, culture and leisure businesses across the city. 8,000 Plymouth jobs rely on the more than 5 million visitors to the city every year, and a major international study last year reported that 4 out of 5 people intended to travel more responsibly in the future, and 3/4 believe that travel should help support local economies and preserve their environments and heritage. That's a strong message for us to take advantage of and get a competitive edge. In signing up to the Green Tourism Scheme, businesses can become sustainably accredited whilst learning about opportunities for cost savings, energy and waste reduction, renewables and green marketing initiatives. There'll be a programme of in-depth webinars and events to provide organisations with the know-how and the skills to start making a difference right now. And some businesses are already on their journey towards sustainability, like the Theatre Royal. For the last 5 years, they've adopted a cross-organisation approach focusing on the 3 Rs: reduce, reuse and recycle. They've replaced single-use plastic cups with compostable ones. One-off plastic cable ties, which they use an awful lot of, have been replaced by reusable Velcro ones. There are now beehives on the roof and a planted green roof is planned. But the biggest positive impact always comes from reduction in consumption. So they've used their building management system to immediately identify any water leaks and optimise heat transfer within the building. And they've converted all lighting in the drum theatre to LEDs with an immediate 80% revenue saving. Their 2 big future projects are converting the large Lyrics theatre here to LED theatrical lights with an immediate annual revenue saving of £60,000 and installing a heat pump at TR2 using the River Plym as its energy source. But we can all do our bit in advocating for the city. So apply now to join Green Tourism and your business could receive 100% subsidy towards the cost of accreditation programme with big discounts in years 2 and 3. It only takes 5 minutes to register to begin protecting and preserving the environment and become more sustainable for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. That was really interesting and very insightful. And it's great to see that the theatre's already a front runner in the city, and we're looking forward to working closely with them on the Green Tourism Scheme. For more details of the scheme, see the link on the page below. Now, we're delighted to have as our final speaker today the amazing Mitch Tonks, restaurateur, founder of Rockfish, award-winning chef and TV presenter, and also ambassador of the Marine Stewardship Council. We are very proud to have Rockfish Restaurant here in the city, and it's great that Mitch is able to be with us today. Mitch, over to you.
Hello, I'm Mitch Tonks. I'm founder of the Rockfish Restaurants and a proud ambassador of the Marine Stewardship Council. So the challenges for us during COVID at Rockfish were pretty immense, like everybody else. I sort of liken it to being thrown into an ice cold pond, and then of course you kind of pop up for air and think about it. But the first thing we wanted to do was survive at all costs, and we then had to sort of work out the finances, everything else. But I think what COVID gave us was opportunity to re-look at our business, which was really amazing. So once we got over those challenges, we turned it into a really, really positive period. We made the whole operation at Rockfish much better, and one of the reasons is I kind of viewed it as a sort of moving train, and I said to everybody, look, this train never stops when we're on it. This is the period that this train has stopped. So why don't we examine everything about what we're doing and just think about things that we would never do before, not only to suit COVID, but things that will live on in the brand and we can do. And we examined it all, we worked together, had some amazing teamwork, and a lot of people working closer together than ever, and we came out, I think, as a much stronger, better business than ever. Well, the challenge during COVID for me were sort of the first 2 weeks when I was actually thinking, is this all over? Are we going to lose anything? How do we get through it? That was like the immediate challenge. But actually I turned it into a kind of really positive period. So I just thought that since I was 19 years old and had children, I've always been responsible, always running businesses, a lot of pressure. And I just saw it as a time of like a little bit of a gap year, a little bit of a sabbatical, time to spend time with my children, do lots more cooking, getting out walking on the boat, swimming in the sea. Some of that stuff has left a bit of a legacy in my life. So I was grateful for lockdown, even though I know it was difficult for many other people. So COVID's impact on the sustainable fishing industry has been quite profound, really. Fishermen were still fishing during the COVID lockdowns, and of course people were still exporting fish and sending it around. People wanted to eat. But I think the biggest thing that happened was people suddenly rediscovered British seafood and how important it was. And I remember one afternoon where I took our little fishing boat, Rockfish, that was out fishing. Market prices were fairly depressed. And I said to Nick, the skipper at the time, why don't you just bring the boat in and we'll just sell it on the quayside and see what happens. We sent out an email to our database. And I just said, bring along tubs, bags, we'll just work it out on the quay. And I couldn't believe what happened. 50, 60, 70 people were queuing up at the time the boat came in. And we just sold all the catch instantly. And I just realised there was a kind of rekindling, I think, of a love of our British seafood. So I think that was a real positive impact. So again, another thing that's happened is local fishmongers springing up and a lot of online fishmongers too. So I think people have seen that opportunity, that the public want to eat more British seafood, so you've encouraged fishmongers to improve, get better, give better services, and new ones to open. So I think that's brilliant. Why should people eat sustainable seafood? It's simple, is that there is no other option. Why on earth would you eat seafood that is unsustainable? And I think it's really important that people choose their seafood from local fleets like this in Brixham, in Newlyn, all along our south coast, where there are small fishing fleets that are well controlled. And if you're buying from a bigger retailer and you're having whitefish species like cod and haddock, always look for the MSC tick. You'll be sure to get something sustainable, but there is no other option. At Rockfish, we've been working on sustainable fishing ever since the business was opened. It was our plan always to make sure that what we were serving over the last 12, 13 years has been sustainable. But gradually the debate has just become more and more intense, and we have to take notice a lot more. So we work with our local fishermen, we take guidance from the science that they receive, and we buy from the local markets in accordance with what quotas are, what's happening too. I also work for the MSC, very proud ambassador working for them and spreading the word about the work that the MSC does. We're actually moving all of our menu towards MSC certified seafood, so we'll have 100% MSC certified seafood within 3 months, all local seafood. That's the choice that you have at Rockfish. So that's really it. It's been a challenge. So things like farmed prawns, farmed fish, the easy stuff that people put on their menus, I can't really get behind it to really understand the impact on the environment, so we just won't serve it. And that's the sort of brutal, even though they're our best sellers, that's the kind of brutal things we've applied. We're also taking seafood in season and canning it, so I'm a really big believer in not seeing gluts of seafood end up on the market at lower cost. So we buy sardines, mackerel, mussels from Lyme Bay, cuttlefish, and we take it, we can it, and this year we launched the world's first range of British canned seafood, so that's sort of really extending the life. And in response to supermarkets that many are closing their counters, and the reason they're closing their counters, that over the years there has been incredible waste. They're not closing profitable counters, they're closing counters because they're very difficult to run, there's lots of waste. And we wanted to kind of fill that space by encouraging people to buy directly from the boats, directly from the quayside. And we've set up a service called Seafood at Home through a pretty sophisticated website to link people up with boats to get their fish portioned in the middle, which our skilled fishmongers do with sauces and everything else to give them direct access to British seafood. All the packaging is coming from non-virgin plastic, so it's already been recycled, and the insulation is made from plastic bottles reclaimed from the ocean. And so our next iteration is to make sure that all of our packaging probably will come from plastic reclaimed from the ocean, and part of that is we are putting sea litter bins and we're putting litter booms into various harbours that we operate in, and we're going to catch all of those bottles, and our aim is to send those back for recycling that possibly will end up in our packaging. So that's kind of like a big thing. And of course we want to become part of the B Corp movement. I think it's really important that everybody in business today thinks beyond profit and thinks about the purpose of our business and what impact we can make in the world. So the work we're doing, I think, goes a little way towards protecting the oceans and its habitat. While we're not out there directly impacting it, I think it's really important that every business that's taking from the ocean, that's working with the ocean, does whatever they possibly can to just dial in those fine-tuned details, whether it's the supply chain or the front end, to make sure that we all working together to make sure that we have a hugely sustainable operation. I mean, the challenges for the oceans with plastic pollutions are immense, and I think what I've really enjoyed is the visibility of the debate. You know, I wasn't aware of microplastics. We all knew about plastic bottles being thrown in the ocean, how we're getting rid of it. And I want that debate to be more visible, because the more it is, the more we all just want to do something about it. I mean, every human being in the world wants to act responsibly, right? We just need to know how to do it. So it's a challenge. Do I think we'll get over it? Absolutely. I think other businesses, could follow our lead, or lots of other businesses like us that are really making change, by just adopting the attitude that business used to be about making money for founders, shareholders. It was all for profitable gain. Nowadays, if you have an operation that maybe employs 100, 3, 4 people, whatever it is, your business is powerful. It can make change, and I think it's really important that people that are leading businesses use their operations to be able to effect change in our world in all sorts of areas, whether it be fish, plastics, packaging, the way we deal with people. We just have to get better at what we do, and that's the power of business, I think.
Thank you, Mitch, and the Rockfish team for supporting our local fishermen, for championing sustainable seafood and tantalising our taste buds. And if you haven't tried it already, I would really encourage you to try Rockfish's Seafood at Home. Their monkfish steak with lime butter pickle is amazing. A big thank you to all our presenters this morning. I'm sure you'll agree they have been amazing. Plymouth has an ambition to become the UK's first national marine park and one of the first carbon neutral destinations in the UK. This morning you have heard from some of the key leaders, advocates and ambassadors for sustainability, but we need everyone to help. Only by doing this together can we make a difference for now, but more importantly for the future. We're going to have a 15-minute break in a second. Don't forget to visit the Green Tourism Programme website to see how to sign up and get started. There's lots of top tips, benefits and demonstrations of all the different ways to make your sustainable business. You'll find the agenda for the rest of the day on the Sustainable Tourism Conference website. And that's where you can also choose your breakout rooms for the next session, where you can join us for our live Q&A. This will happen after the breakout sessions with all of today's presenters, who will be live and ready to answer all of your questions. Now, what are you waiting for? Start your sustainable journey. Go to the website and sign up today.
Sunrise is just for you, so come along and take my hand. Spilling eyes by the ocean.